Hi, my name is Moonpie, and today we're going to be taking a look at leveling engineering from 1 to 100 in New World, an essential skill for allowing you to construct the tools you need for everyday use. The video has been broken down into a couple of sections. Firstly, an overview of the recommended approach and some useful info. Then we'll be taking a look at how to obtain the necessary materials, followed by a breakdown of the amount of materials involved and the experience you'll receive. Now firstly, there's two primary ways that people are getting to 100 engineering. The first option, iron cartridges, requires you to make a lot of iron cartridges, which predominantly focuses on either using mining or buying iron ore ingots on the market. Instead of cartridges, which end up costing you a lot of gold, my preferred approach is to build bows. This method focuses on harvesting, skinning, and logging, all of which are essential skills for creating high quality star metal tools. Now, you can just go out and buy star metal tools and not worry about engineering and other trade skills at all, but you'll have to level these skills at some point, so you may as well level them with a purpose in mind. Now the guide itself is based on two bows. The first, which we'll be using to go from 1 to level 50 engineering, is the treated wooden bow. The second, which you'll be using to go from 50 to 100 engineering, is the lacquered wooden bow. A single wooden bow requires 12 timber, 2 linen, and 3 coarse leather. Each of these materials represents a refined raw resource, meaning you need to put the raw resources through a specific building at a settlement. 1 timber is made from 4 greenwood, 1 linen is made from 4 fibre, and 1 coarse leather is made from 4 raw hide. This means that to build 1 bow, it'll cost 48 greenwood, 8 fibre, and 12 raw hide. Now all these materials are refined at tier 2 stations. Now all settlements should have tier 2 or above stations, and a quick way to check this is to go to the minimap, click on the settlement, and then click to see on the specific stations. Now as I mentioned previously, we're going to be making the treated wooden bow from levels 1 to 50, and then the lacquered wooden bow from 51 to 100. Now both of these bows use the same raw inputs, but it's important to not gather more resources than you need to get level 50 engineering. This is because at level 50 engineering, you are able to create steel tools, which will increase the gather rate of all natural resources. As such, you should only gather resources that you need to reach level 50 engineering. So after hitting 50 engineering, making steel tools and starting to gather the materials that you need, we'll start to make lacquered wooden bows. Each bow requires 13 lumber, 2 linen, and 3 coarse leather. 1 lumber is made from 2 timber, 4 aged wood, and 1 sandpaper. And same as before, 1 linen is made from 4 fibre, and 1 coarse leather is made from 4 raw hide. This means that to build 1 bow, it'll cost 104 greenwood, 48 aged wood, 13 sandpaper, 8 fibre, and 12 raw hide. Now lumber requires a tier 3 station to be built, which most settlements should have, but it's definitely a good idea to check which settlements have tier 3s before deciding on a settlement to focus crafting on. It's important to note that we'll be salvaging all the bows we make to get some of the resources back, which saves time from gathering the basic resources. As a result of this, and other experience boosts that I had on my tools and experience boosts that you'll have on your tools, the experience rates that I referred to later in the video might be slightly different to what you actually receive. As a result, the experience that I mention is a good foundation to base your expectations on, but take it with a pinch of salt. So where do you get all these materials from? Luckily, both bows basically use the same material inputs, and they're all fairly easy to obtain. For me, I leveled engineering in and around Windsward, as it has easy access to all the resources you need, but honestly, most starting settlements should have fairly easy access to everything that you need as well. Firstly, there's an abundance of trees right outside the settlement, giving you easy access to the resources you need to create both lumber and timber. Now you'll have to backtrack a little bit to cut the trees down, but it provided more than enough greenwood and old age wood to go from 1 through to 100 engineering. Next is linen, which is made from fibre. In the fields to the west of Windsward, close to where the main quest giver Jonas Alizai is, there is an abundance of fibre. In one trip, you should have more than enough for levels 1 to 100. It's also a good idea to grab as much as you can carry as you'll be leveling up your weaving. Finally, you've got coarse leather, which is refined from raw hide. Unlike the other materials, hides from animals varies depending on the level of a creature that you kill. For example, killing level 26 wolves in Brightwood averages around 35 hides and 385 skinning experience. Alternatively, killing a level 6 wolf or boar in Windswood gives you an average of 17 hides and 105 skinning experience. What you should be keeping an eye out for are stags, elks, or doe, as they drop around twice as many hides as the wolves in the same area. For Windswood, there is a great spot that has wolves, boars, stags, does, pumas, and a bear, all of which drop lots and lots of raw hide. Now you could instead go to a high leveled area to get higher quantities of hides per kill, but the spot I just mentioned is fairly consistent for obtaining high levels of hides. Finally, for 50 to 100 engineering, you need to use sandpaper. Unfortunately, outside of buying it on the market, the only way to get these items is through the searchable containers throughout the world. Now, if you've been roaming around a fair bit like I had, you should have a pretty sizable supply, but you might need to end up forking out a bit of gold to finish up the 100 engineering. So with how to obtain all the materials you need, let's take a look at some numbers. For 1 to 50 engineering, it's about 11,600 experience. And because we're making wooden bows which provide 204 experience per bow, this means that we'll need to make 57 of them. As mentioned previously, each bow costs 48 greenwood, 8 fiber, and 12 raw hide. This means to reach level 50 engineering, you're going to need 2,736 greenwood, 456 fiber, and 684 raw hide. So after getting the resources, refining and crafting them into the bows, you'll end up with level 50 engineering, level 44 logging, level 14 harvesting, level 24 skinning, level 54 woodworking, level 21 weaving, and level 29 leatherworking. Now obviously you've leveled these skills up separately, so your levels will obviously be fairly different, but from level 1 onwards, this is the experience you'd likely receive. Now it's also important to note that I don't mention combat experience, as it's completely dependent on the player level and the level of the monsters you're killing. But awesome, with level 50 out of the way, you're ready to start cracking on with the next 50 levels. Now as I mentioned previously, before you go and do this, you want to go and make your steel tools and then go and gather the materials, just to ensure you're having a high level of efficiency when gathering the resources. But now there's two ways to go about going from level 50 to 100. You can either continue making the wooden bow that you'd previously been making, or you can move on to the lacquered wooden bow. I'd personally recommend making the higher level bow, mainly because you get much higher experience for making the tier 3 refined resources, but if you continue making the same bows, it means you wouldn't have to use sandpaper, which could potentially save you some money. We'll compare both approaches and the experience you would likely expect to see from both so you can make your own decision. So firstly, the lacquered bows. To go from 50 to 100 engineering, we'll need 85,680 experience, meaning at 540 experience a bow, we'll need to make 158 bows. As mentioned previously, each bow costs 104 greenwood, 48 agewood, 13 sandpaper, 8 fiber, and 12 rawhide for each bow. This means that to reach level 100 engineering, you'll need 16,328 greenwood, 7,584 agewood, 1,256 fiber, 1,884 rawhide, and 2,041 sandpaper. Now that seems like a lot of resources, and it is, but after getting the resources, refining them, and crafting the bow, you will end up with level 100 engineering, level 106 logging, level 34 harvesting, level 55 skinning, level 125 woodworking, level 50 weaving, and level 53 leatherworking. The logging, skinning, woodworking, and leatherworking will set you up to create the necessary refined materials you need to enhance your star metal tools, so making the lacquered bows is definitely my preferred way to go. Instead, if you prefer to keep making the treated wooden bow, you'll need to make 420 of them. This in turn requires you to gather 20,160 greenwood, 3,360 fiber, and 5,040 rawhide. This will result in level 100 engineering, level 98 logging, level 51 harvesting, level 96 skinning, level 101 woodworking, level 58 weaving, and level 65 leatherworking. As I mentioned previously, the XP rates that I've provided don't necessarily take into consideration the salvaged resources that you get from salvaging the bows, as well as the experience modifiers that you might have on your tools, so the experience that you actually receive might differ slightly to what I've actually displayed on screen. As I mentioned previously, take it as a foundation for experience that you'd likely receive, but take it with a pinch of salt. Overall, I feel that making the liqueured bows places your account in a really good position to start making high quality star metal tools, but at the end of the day, it's your account. Whether you make bows, cartridges, or something else entirely, it's all up to you. Something that I've not taken into consideration and not mentioned in this video is that obviously to mine star metal, to make the star metal tools, you need 100 mining. Now that's something you'll have to passively do or focus a little bit more on it, but regardless, I still feel the approach that I've provided is the best way of preparing your account for being able to create high-level star metal tools. Now something that's worth considering is that if you're gathering a specific resource for an extended period of time, more than 15 or 20 minutes, then it might be worth considering actually getting some luck-enhancing food. Now there's a wide variety of food, all of which are for specific gathering skills, but they will increase the luck involved when actually potentially getting rare items. Now, to put things into perspective, when luck is involved in something, you roll on a table of 100,000. Now, the food itself increases the luck by between 1,000 and 1,700. So basically, this food represents an increase in luck by 1 to 2% approximately. It's also important to note that there are armor pieces that also enhance this luck rate. So if you're looking at gathering a specific resource for an extended period of time, it might be worth looking into both food and armor sets. Now I enjoy looking at the numbers behind this and had fun putting all this info together. Now if you've enjoyed the numbers too, or just like New World, feel free to drop a like, a comment, or a subscription. Feel free to come and check me out on Twitch, link is in the description, but whatever the case, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day/night, and I'll catch you again another time. Bye.